Good morning. On this rainy and cloudy day, which is actually really fitting for why we're here today, to break ground on an air traffic control tower. Such an asset for the Albert J. Ellis Airport will not only expand our service portfolio, but it'll allow for arrivals and departures in foul weather beyond what is possible now. On behalf of the Onslow County Board of Commissioners, it is my privilege to welcome you here to the Albert J. Ellis Air Traffic Control Tower groundbreaking ceremony. Our airport serves as a gateway to our community. It also serves as an economic catalyst for our region. Onslow County, through the Board of County Commissioners' vision and decision making, illustrates the importance of investing and developing the Albert J. Ellis Airport. As with previous boards of commissioners, the current Board of Commissioners has taken a historic step by commissioning our first air traffic control tower. I also want to recognize the efforts and dedication of our Airport Advisory Committee. The dedication of this group of volunteers has really contributed significantly to our success here at the airport, so thank you. In addition to the vision and guidance of our Board of Commissioners, such an air traffic control tower requires staff, I think, with the ability to see over the horizon, have an understanding of the complexity of the rules, laws, and regulations governing such an operation, have the expertise of knowledge and understanding of the industry, and an innate ability the innate ability to structure and leverage a multitude of funding sources to make such a project possible. Mr. Chris White, our airport director, has all of these traits and characteristics and then some. He is by far one of the most talented, dedicated, and passionate airport directors I've ever had the privilege of working with. So at this time, I will now ask Mr. Chris White, our airport director, to offer some remarks.
I want to thank all of you for joining us on this wet and dreary day, but it is, as David mentioned, it is fitting for what we'll be doing as we move forward. On December 17, 1903, two brothers from Dayton gave mankind wings just 137 miles northeast of this airport. Over the past almost 114 years, aviation has shrunk the world and changed all of our lives in unimaginable ways. At any given time, there are over 20,000 aircraft crisscrossing the skies, carrying over 2.5 million people each day. In the U.S., there are over 19,600 public and private use airports supported by 522 air traffic control towers. Soon there will be 523. This project is a product of over 8 years of work by many people, and we would like to extend our gratitude to those partners involved in this project. First, the county's management team and our hardworking Board of Commissioners, who for many years have supported our airport and its ongoing redevelopment and modernization programs. Our congressional delegations, especially Congressman Jones, Senators Burr and Tillis, all steadfast supporters of the contract tower program. Our leaders in the General Assembly, including Representative Shepard, Mueller, Cleveland, and Senator Brown, have all provided support and the means to complete many of these valuable airport projects. The North Carolina Department of Transportation and the Board of Transportation, who work to promote aviation and have helped elevate Onslow County's aviation. The Airport Advisory Board, who keeps us flying straight, and finally our airport staffers, business partners, consultants, and contractors who help turn ideas into brick and mortar. I would like to turn the podium over to John Arnold, Deputy Director of the NCDOT Division of Aviation. John is one of those engineers that helps turns ideas into reality.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate those remarks. Thanks for the introduction. Thank you all for coming out today. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here. On behalf of the Department of Transportation, we're very excited to be here today to participate in the groundbreaking ceremony for your new air traffic control tower. Our staff and I want to thank you for the opportunity to get out of office. Most of us that are here today are engineers, and we like to be out here in jeans and muddy boots and actually solving the problems and fixing stuff. So this gets us away from the spreadsheets and the dollars and the cents and touching the dirt and the ground and seeing our money go to work. And so that makes us happy. We're also looking forward to talking to you about some future projects here later today, I believe. The Department of Transportation has invested $2.4 million in the construction of this new air traffic control facility. This project will have significant impacts on the airport. It'll improve operations on the field. It'll enhance safety both on the facility and in the airspace around it. It's going to impact everybody. It's going to impact the traveling public. It will impact private pilots, military aviators, commercial aviators, positive impacts for all. This is not only an important project for the airport, though, but for Jacksonville, for Onslow County, for the local region, but also for our state. Our state airport system is very beneficial to our state, and I'll get into some data on that in just a second. But we at the Division of Aviation, we're very fortunate that the North Carolina General Assembly has blessed our division and the airports of our state in recent years with some additional funding to the tune of $100 million. To us, this is a massive budget increase. Our airport development budget has grown to $100 million in FY18, fiscal year 18. This is a landmark shift over previous years. In fiscal year 15 as an example, since fiscal year 15, we have increased our budget by 373%. That is significant. In anybody's standards, that's significant. This increase for this year includes $40 million in new funding for commercial service airports across our state, just like Albert J. Ellis. We have 10 commercial service airports in North Carolina, and this is the first time the state has supported them anywhere near this level, and it's very exciting for all of us. So why are they doing that, you might ask? Why would our leaders be increasing our budget so much in this time where we're constantly talking about budgets being cut? We at the division believe that it's because our leadership in the state now recognize the impact that airports bring to our state's economy. And it ultimately impacts everybody, not just the immediate users on the airport. So 3 numbers I'm going to throw at you guys. I want you to just keep in the back of your head. 31 billion, 910 million, and 123,000. So those are 3 separate numbers. Our airport system is comprised of 72 publicly owned, publicly used airports, just like Albert J. Ellis. There's 10 commercial like Albert J. Ellis, 62 general aviation. In 2016, an economic impact study was conducted, and that study resulted in the finding that these airports, these 72 airports in combination, contribute $31 billion to the state's economy, economic impacts annually. That's a big number, folks. You're not going to find that, falling away in your seat cushions in your car, in your couch, when you go to get a new couch or something. This is a lot of money. And I think for years that the impact has gone unnoticed because these airports go about what they do in a very quiet way. 910 million. 910 million is the dollars in revenue that these airports generate that go back into the local governments, back into the state government system. 123,000. That's the number of jobs that are tied to these airports across the state. So this is a big deal. Again, a lot of this stuff is under the radar, no pun intended, and these airports have a massive impact on our state economy. So if you do the math, fiscal year 18 budget, $100 million, we're getting a return on investment. We're coming back into local funding of $910 million. So we're seeing a 9-to-1 return. So for every dollar invested, we're getting $9 back. So if we were to take this air traffic control project that's going to be built behind me here, talk about it at about $4.5 million, round up to $5 million, times 9, $45 million project, $45 million in economic impact to the local community. That doesn't even account for the safety impacts that this project's going to bring to the area, all the improvements. It's also important to point out at this point that for this particular project, it's indicative of things that we're seeing across the state. The state's partnership in this project is actually exceeding the federal participation. State's got $2.4 million in this project, and the federal government has $2 million in this project. This is what we're seeing across our state right now, is the Federal Aviation Administration, they're beginning to not fund things as completely as they have in the past. Lower funding amounts, we're having to fight harder for what we get with the Federal Aviation Administration, and our leaders in the state and the General Assembly are meeting that gap, they're meeting that demand, they're filling that gap. They're not letting us fall behind as the federal funding has been diminishing. So although that federal funding diminishing is a challenge, it's very encouraging that our leaders see the needs that these airports have and the benefit that they bring to our economy. So with that, in conclusion, I'd like to encourage everybody today to be sure to thank your local legislator for the work they do, for sending this money our way so we can put it back out into the communities and the airports all across the state, like Albert J. Ellis. And meanwhile, at the Division of Aviation, we're going to continue to drive home the point of your value to the local economy, both regionally and impacting the state, to ensure that Albert J. Ellis and all of our airports continue to get resources they need to compete and thrive in today's economy. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Bright had to leave. He wasn't feeling well, so I'm going to take over for him for just a few minutes. I sit on the airport board along with the other board members that are here today, but there's a lot of people we have to thank. I mean, there's quite a few people involved. Senator Brown sitting in the front, George Cleveland, and Millis was one of the ones, and then Phil Shepard. But Harry, you worked hard on this project, but there's somebody else we have to thank in here. Sandra Fountain is in the audience here someplace. Sandra Fountain was the Department of Transportation. She was very helpful in working with our Board of Commissioners and working with Senator Brown and the representatives to get this project to come into fruition. And the biggest thing here is economic development. Economic development for Onslow County, and I've been praising this for years, and I'm very fortunate to be a commissioner now going on 13 years. So I've been here for quite a while to watch this airport grow. I can remember coming off an aircraft and having umbrellas to put over our heads so we could get into the terminal because there was no way to get into the terminal. Today we have jetports. We have all the walkways and everything else that take place in this facility. This is one of the best facilities in the country. We have some of the best people in the country working for us with Chris White and his staff, David Cotton and his staff, and all of our assistant managers. If it wasn't for our working public and the working staff of Onslow County, we wouldn't have what we have today. So just a couple of facts. Landing and takeoffs at OAJ currently exceed 38,000 annually. Transportation about 320 passengers a year. Since the airport opened in 1971, more than 8 million passengers have served through this facility. The state has estimated the economic impact to be $237 million. That's quite a bit of an impact for Onslow County. The new tower will bring many new economic development opportunities. Air traffic control towers are prerequisites for some companies. And I've talked about this as a commissioner for some time now about bringing in some of the other companies that have some larger aircraft, which will bring in product that has to be brought into the community. But one of the other things too, and I hope that we can get DOT to help us out a whole lot, is we've got to get rid of 111. 111 is a nightmare, and I hope I'm probably stepping on some toes, but when I found out the other day that the fuel that comes into this airport and these trucks that come out of Morehead City that come down 111, that's a dangerous road. And Commissioner Bright made sure that I would tell you guys that when there's an accident on 111, you're in trouble. You can't get to the airport in time to get your flight out of here. So it's real important for our legislators and DOT and everybody else to help us try to get that new 111 if we can, because we do have a road coming from Ramsey Road to 258. That's on the tip and it's already been funded. So that's a good thing for us for the airport. But if we can get that new road, because right now there's no funding for 111, is what we were told here recently. But the DOT has been very helpful for us and doing a lot. Some of the other facts and figures that we have, the runway, which is 7,100 feet times 150, 9/16 inches thick, that's some of the new stuff. Instrumental, CAT, an instrumental landing system that's brand new. Paved area is about 33 lanes, miles of roadway. Average, we have 775 acres. Basic aircraft currently 25, many are for business purposes. Annual passengers is 320,000. Airlines are American Airlines and Delta, and then we have the rental car companies. We are really flourishing here at this community, and this airport is just one of the best in the world. I mean, that's where I've flown out all over this country. I'm a former Vietnam vet, so I've flown overseas and back and forth quite a few times. So I can tell you that this airport's one of the best, and I'm very proud of this jewel. And it's very important to us for this airport to flourish, and it's going to do that. Chris White has been very instrumental, and this terminal can be extended. If we have to extend this terminal, it can be extended out. It was built that way so it can be larger. So I'm very proud of this facility. Commissioner Price.
Pleased to be here this morning and have the opportunity to be a part of the groundbreaking for the air traffic control tower. I know that anytime a business considers relocating or moving into an area, one of the key components that they look at is transportation. And so the ability to have larger aircraft fly into and out of OAJ is going to be a major asset to Onslow County. And so it's going to increase the safety and the efficiency of traffic, the arrivals and departures here. So I am just proud to be a part of it, and thank everyone for being here this morning. It's always good to have another piece of the puzzle to add into economic development, and I think this is a very important piece that it will see continue to grow. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna throw a little dirt if everyone wants to join us up here